Peace. Welcome to the campaign show. Okay, we live. Thursday, March 20th, 2025. Ramadan Mubarak, last 10 days. Last 10 days officially. Last 10 days of Ramadan 2025. And we on the countdown. Fasting, reading, praying, staying positive, willing, um, detoxing, doing good, charity, all that positive stuff on the most positive time possible, on our positivity time. Peace and welcome. Campaign show. Thursday, March 20th. Once again, no particular subject. Just just showing up and not 304 and up. Divine light alive. Alaikum salam. Ramadan Kareem. Peace to you. Good to see you. Let me go and share this screen. I guess. Yeah. Ain't really nothing. I don't have no topic necessarily, but just looking at the current events, I ain't really gonna talk about necessarily the negative stuff, but yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff going on. This is YouTube, fair use. So much negativity, so much drama, so much mess. Not a whole lot of good news. Not a whole lot of gospel that I can see. Yeah, man. This is where we exercise what's called silence and no comments other than peace and blessings and prayers for whoever is worthy and in need of the peace and the blessings and the prayers. Other than that, man, it ain't a whole lot of good looking nothing going on here. So we keep our mouths closed and observe, our eyes and our ears open. And that's what we're doing right now. So let's see what the news talking about. Trump getting rid of the Department of Education. Yeah, that's something we could talk about. We could talk about Trump and stuff like that. I refuse to speak negatively about any black people and any of my peers, whether it's entertainment peers, whether it's religious base, whether it's in the streets. Yeah, got 10 more days of positive energy. I mean, if somebody aggressed, then you got to respond. But yeah, we keeping it all the way positive as much as possible. Talking about solutions, healing, remedies. You know what I mean? Solving problems. Okay, Divine Light, formerly K Solo, salute. Tag Magazine Podcast, peace to you, peace to you. Tag Magazine, BL Senior, peace and blessings. Big Adrian X from the Wrench Mob God Squad. Good to see you. I don't have no particular topic. We just here winging it like we do. We are the topic. We just show up and let the Lord speak through us. You know what I mean? But put the StreamYard link. No, I didn't put the StreamYard link. Hold on a second. Put the StreamYard link in there soon. Just in case anybody want to speak on any subjects or topics. Anything positive, that is. I can't get into nothing negative. Can't get into no mess. Same day parlay, peace. But yeah, Trump is talking about Kanye West on his super rant against, that's negative. Can't even talk about nothing. It's crazy. What's my man here talking about? Oh yeah. Cool. It's a lot. Oh yeah. What did I see? Candace Owens. So our Candace Owens going in today about the JFK files and what the state of Israel hand in JFK's deletion and alleged blackmail. Man, see, I got to be careful because this is a digital soapbox and it's Ramadan, so I got to be extra careful. But let me see if I can find this. I think y'all should check out Candace Owens. Make sure y'all can hear me. Yeah, this is it right here. So her most recent live today called what is this saying? Man. I'm trying to get to the title of it. It's not showing me the title. Oh, there you go. The conspiracy theorists. We were right again. We were right about JFK. So check that out. Go to Candace Owens. Matter of fact, I'll put that little link in the chat right quick. Because that's all I'm really trying to do these days is just share information. It don't got to be my information. Share my information. Share their information. Brother T, walaikum salam. Say, what's your thoughts on the pyramids? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a report about the pyramids allegedly having some pillars or whatever, but beneath the pillars and some little geometric construction or something. Some other people that was alleging that was supposed to be records, some hall of records underneath the pyramids, but now it's different reports. So it's hard to really gauge it at pyramids story because who's really gonna tell us the truth, especially if it's making us look good. Let's see if I can pull that up though. Let me see. Yeah. Uh, 8 hours again. Skeleton chain. No, we're talking about. Is this it? Dang, what happened? Hold on a second. I'm trying to figure out how this is supposed to work. Share screen. There you go. So this story says pyramids or ancient power grids, radar scans reveal massive underground structures in Egypt's Giza pyramids. New radar scans reveal a vast underground complex beneath the pyramids of Giza. So, groundbreaking technology, groundbreaking study, pardon me. Advanced radar technology revealed a vast, intricate underground structure beneath the pyramids of Giza. Scientists from the University of such and such, use synthetic tomography to scan the Khafre pyramid and found a subterranean system that extends approximately 2 kilometers or about a mile and some change beneath all three pyramids. Yeah, I don't know. That's something to look at. Yeah. I'm looking for pictures. I'm like kindergarten. I want to see some pictures. I don't read no big novels. But anyway, that's something you can check out. In the meantime, salute KM. Salud Safi Ali. Last 10 days of Ramadan, I expect a whole lot of new revelations and new developments and breaking news and a lot of stuff that's I expect to go down these last 10 days of Ramadan and then really go down after Ramadan is over with. This is to me the end of grace and the final days of the calm before the literal storms and the last days of certain olive branches that's going to be offered and extended. I'm not the best knower, just based on my little limited understanding, my limited research of what I've been studying and living for the last 35 years. It's not looking good at all for those procrastinators or those people that ain't taking advantage of this grace, this last days of grace. It ain't looking good. Rod Worley, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem. But yes, I'm open. Like Wala Tajik Khan, he was saying about the pyramids. What are y'all thoughts? Y'all got any thoughts about the pyramids? I'm trying to keep it positive, not trying to entertain none of the mess and the drama and the beefing or whatever the stuff that you see going on YouTube or on Instagram and all this mess that's dealing with our people. I'm trying to keep it on some other people. I'm gonna talk mess. I'm gonna talk warfare. I'm gonna talk it against the actual open enemy and not against people that look like us or people that's made out of the same material that we made out of. Wally 100, peace. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if y'all want to talk about something specific, so we can get it in real quick. So I ain't got no topic. We ain't got no hook for this. What else? Hold on one second. Yeah, talk. Jabril Ahmad, peace to you. Hold on one second. Yeah, just dealing with some technical difficulties. Hang on a second. All right. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Man, that's interesting. So yeah, I'm embarking on a certain specific type of personal trial for these last 10 days, a test, personal experiment that or discipline that I'm putting myself through. So that's you're gonna have to pardon me. Wally, I believe the original black man built the pyramids using high mathematics. Well, we taught in the nation that the pyramids were built by the original man using a technology of hydraulics. Hydro meaning water, and hydraulics, like hydraulic pumps. So that's what we were taught, that the pyramids were built by advanced engineering technology that's not available to this world. It's secret technology of the gods, technology of hydraulics. Um, Cameron Bell, salute. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Okay, you can hear me. Cool, cool, cool. I want to hear from you though. I want to hear from y'all if y'all got any questions, any comments, any topics, anything, positive. I'm trying to focus on positivity for these last 10 days. And it's hard. It's hard, especially, it's the judgment, it's Armageddon time. The enemy is doing Custer's last stand. So it's hard not to talk about the negativity or the judgment. I don't mind talking against them though. I just don't want to talk negative against other black people or brown people or indigenous people, and what trials and tribulations or mess might be going on with our own people. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to address that. Y'all can talk about it. Y'all can post comments, but I'm not going, go into it. I'm not going to give my thoughts on it. So, that's a test. That's a very difficult test. If we so used to participating and commenting and gossiping and spreading slander and just negative emotional communication, we so used to that, we don't realize how hard it is to not do it. It's actually a chore. It's actually a job to not automatically talk about some beef or mess or some slander or some drama among our own people. I'd be so anxiously trying to go in on the real enemies and expose real enemies, but we don't really like that. We addicted to self-sabotage, self-beef, self-hatred. So it's a task. It's a task, but we own it. So that's why my energy is kind of different, because I'm very frustrated. I'm very angered at a lot of stuff, but I gotta just keep it under control, keep it to myself. Let the God within and the gods without manifest what need to be manifested at its time. I do want to say condolences, and may Allah be well pleased with our brother Rasul Hakeem Muhammad, one of the sons of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that transitioned a week ago on the 13th during Ramadan, and his janazah, or his funeral service, was today. And his brother, student minister Ishmael Muhammad, delivered a beautiful janazah message for all of us, and that's one of the best messages I ever heard him deliver, because I felt him, and I knew that something about the strength and the wisdom and the discipline and all kind of stuff that it took for him to even deliver that. So I see him growing into a whole different graduation level of a star because of the trials, as well as Supreme Captain Mustafa Farrakhan, and him dealing with the transition of his wife, Sister Karen. Is these so-called deaths, these transitioning of our closest of loved ones and siblings and spouses and children and parents, that qualify us for the task or the assignment in this next season that we coming into, this season of grace being over with, and the function, the other side of the function of this work, the war side, the warfare side. We've been focusing on the Salvation Army side, but it's another side. They say build and destroy. Well, we've been building, and it's the season now of the other side. And to me, what seems like prepares us, or one of the final tests or examinations for us to receive certain instruments or tools or weapons, is we have to go through this level of trial and tests of losing loved ones and still holding the post, still holding our post and staying on our posts. Ooh, that was it. Yeah, that was, I'm not an emotional brother, but I definitely start feeling what I be feeling when I see Minister Farrakhan, or when I see Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's family members taking certain losses on that level. I just want to, I want to help clean up, clean up stuff. So may Allah be pleased with Brother Rasul and Sister Karen Farrakhan, and the pioneers as transition, Brother Don Muhammad, a few. So that's just lets us know that tomorrow is not promised, and none of us as individuals. So the time that we do got left, like Brother Minister Ishmael was saying, what should we be doing with our time, when people that I look at is far above my grade level and rank and importance and contribution to this nation, Allah calling them in and they transitioning. So what I look like, twiddling my thumbs and not going as hard in the paint as I possibly can go for the season that I'm called to go, and for the task that I'm called to go. So yeah, man. So that was very inspiring, and it's inspired a whole lot. So that's why my energy is different. Yeah, it changes you. It changes you. Those highest level trials, the trials of death, and or death of the body of loved ones, absolutely changes you. So yeah, Adrian, you in tune, Brother Ken. I was just gonna ask you about Brother Rasul. I was watching a lot of his lectures prior to his passing transition. Yeah. 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 So that brings a lot to question, like, for those of us that are into the science or into the reality of life and in birth and death, and what that is and who controls it. Does a ghost control it? Does a spirit, just an invisible force, does an unseen force control it? Or is it a human being? Is God really a he? Is Allah really a he instead of a it, instead of a she? He it is who takes men's souls at night and at the time of their death. So that's part of the science that we're supposed to be fully getting into, not running from because it's emotional, because it's painful, but running to it because it's painful. If we really with God and God is really with us, and this is about revealing the secrets and the mysteries of God and the knowledge of the sciences of everything in life, which includes death, this is a subject we're supposed to be running to. We don't dwell on it. You know what I'm saying? You don't hang out in no cemetery or no morgues or nothing like that. But we just talking about mentally, because that's the biggest question, and that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest subject that mentally paralyzes most of us with fear, and that's the fear of death, the fear of loss. It's really the fear of pain and loss. And the fear is rooted in ignorance or lack of knowledge. We fear what we don't have knowledge of, or what we don't have no understanding of, or we don't have no control over. That produces the fear, because it seems like it could just hit you at any time, and some other being or some other force has such powerful control over you to take you out of here and never to return. It seems so final and absolute and so hard to understand. You know, somebody is pregnant, you know they pregnant, and then you get to see building up 8 months, 7 months, whenever you find out that somebody is pregnant, that you can get used to the idea gradually of this new life and this new family member coming into the world, and you preparing for it. But the passing don't be like that. Sometimes it will, and you don't know if that's really a blessing or if it's a punishment, if it's a trial. Sometimes you want time for your loved one, to know that they passing or whatever, and time to spend time with them, let them know you love them and be there for them and make preparations and all of that. But sometimes that can be more painful than anything. Sometimes the sudden transition or the sudden loss of somebody is actually a blessing. When it's sudden, it can be a blessing, even though it's not going to feel like that, because you're going to be like, what could I did? I wish this. And, I didn't have time to tell them I love them, and I didn't know. And they woke up this morning, I didn't know they wasn't coming home ever again, and this and that. But that catapults us. That's either going to catapult us to maturity, mental and spiritual maturity, or it's going to traumatize us and paralyze us, and we're going to regress and go back down into the mud of alcoholism or drugs or partying or whatever we doing to run from the reality. So we not able to live because we can't accept the reality of death. So we can't accept or appreciate the fullness of life, because we traumatized by ignorance and a pain based on that ignorance of what life and death is all about in the first place. We fear death, you know what I'm saying? So we don't want to accept the reality. We kind of stay looking for, denial, like we don't have to physically die. Like, I mean, that's, I don't know, man. And then some of us, a fate worse than death for us is being broke, or being embarrassed, having our public image, look bad. We rather die than be exposed for the faker that we are, for the hypocrite, or for the weak person, or for the violations or crimes or sins or whatever that we doing or that we committed. So that's why, even mafia, even mass organized crime, people, they be having confessions. They be having like, in the Catholic Church, the confessions, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Like the nature of the human brain won't even allow you to do certain levels of dirt without confessing. You got to confess to somebody. So the Bible say confession is good for the soul. I don't care if you're a mass deleter. The way the human brain, even if you're a devil, the way the human mind and human brain is set up, you have to tell somebody. That's why a lot of people that be serial, deleters, they subconsciously want to get caught. They're telling you, they're trying to confess. So confession is good for the soul. And a lot of times, if we cowards or we scared or whatever, we want to act tough and we want to put on this fake image. No, just confess. Like, if you're scared, say you're scared. It don't mean that you can't conquer it. We all got fears. It's a difference between having fears and being a coward. I got a gang of fears, you know what I'm saying? But I can't let them paralyze me. I don't let them paralyze me. If something caused me that much fear, I'm gonna tend to run to it, because I'm so, annoyed, or it's so angering to me that something that can make me so afraid that I'm gonna go run and try to eliminate it. So certain things you can't eliminate. I can't eliminate death. If I'm fear death, I can't go run to death, but I'm gonna go run to understand it. I'm gonna run to study it and try to understand what it even means. Why was it even created? You know, why is it necessary? And is it what we even think it is? Is death really what we think it is? Is death really death? Is it, you know, what's holding us together? Can you kill atoms? Can you kill subatomic particles? Can you kill gravity? Can you kill magnetism or electromagnetism? Can you kill energy? So is death really death? You know, so why do we fear it the way we fear it? We know our eyeballs are limited. We know our ears is limited. So do we believe that something is a ghost because we can't see it with the limited range of our eyeballs' ability to see? What about the, you know, all the way into the ultraviolet and gamma ray this way, and then, you know, the range we only see in a little small limited range that our eyeballs can see, physical eyeballs can see. Does that mean everything else that way or that way in range is a ghost, is not real? So we functioning on ignorance. We function on ignorance. And that's called hell. That's what hell really is. Hell really is ignorance. The pain of ignorance. The pain of ignorance is what hell is. The more you know, the less you fear. The more you know, the less emotional, you know, especially negative emotional we are. Jabril, is the connection between life and death are similar to the connection between the day and the night? Well, according to the Quran, it said that Allah created death. He created death and life, that he might try you or test us to see, those, you know, those of us that are best in deeds or best in choices or whatever, what we choose to do with our time. So if death, according to the Quran, I mean, that's, you know, faith theology, but if it's something that had to be created, then what was it called before it was created? So we talking about physical death. That talks, you know, that's dealing with tangible, physical, measurable material, measurable bodies. So the bodies have to be cleared out the way, or the cells have to be cleared out. You know what I'm saying? Moved out the way, and like Tevis Muhammad said, those cells, those so-called dead cells, or dead leaves, or dead, you know, organisms feed life. They become fertilizer for the new life. So everything is efficient. Nothing is wasted. So what we think is death is really food, the food of new life. But if you're not taught that, are they teaching us that? Did slave masters teach that? Did Yakub teach that? Do Satans and devils teach us that? The people that have influence over us all our life, do they teach us the real science of what death really is? Physical death? Is physical death the same thing as the death of the soul? Does the soul die? You know, does the mind die? How can you prove it? You know, it can be proven, but do we have the instruments? Do we have the wisdom? Do we have the revelation to be able to prove that? So that's what life and death is supposed to drive us towards getting that information. That makes life way sweeter when you have understanding. So you ain't tripping, you ain't stressing, you ain't fearing, you ain't traumatized and paralyzed mentally to where you scared to make a move because you think, is this the day that I'm gonna die, or is this gonna kill me, or this, you know, that's hell. It's hell. That's not even living. That's why so many of us be on drugs or be on alcohol or be on some substance that alters our emotions. mood and emotion altering, mind altering substances. So we don't process fear the same way. Well, you don't need the drugs for that. The most high, the greatest high that you can be on is knowledge, supreme wisdom, knowledge of the science of this thing that you fear. Go after the knowledge of it and you will stay high. You won't have to hit nothing. So you'll just be understanding. You'll constantly be in a state of peace and gratitude and cheerfulness and understanding. Never get took down by grief or sorrow. You still will have those feelings, but you're not going to get took down by them. You're going to convert them into more positive and cheerful and thankful and grateful love of life energy. ACM, interesting. One of my female middle school students pulled me to the side and said, look, she whipped out a razor blade and she knew I was obligated to tell the administration. Yeah, because they dissatisfied, especially the youth. The youth is so dissatisfied. They don't fear what we feared. They be taking themselves out, taking each other out. Like this generation is fearless, but they ignorant. They grossly ignorant, grossly poisonously influenced. So they don't fear. So if you got a fearless fool, they're not gonna last as long as we last. A fearless fool is not gonna last. So that's why we gotta hurry up and try to get to them. That's why we gotta hurry up and get to them to replace their foolishness, to replace their ignorance with good news. The good news that they are fearless and they are actually little positive gods that need this information to go along with their fearlessness. Because there is an enemy that we're supposed to be using that fearlessness against, and it's not each other. It's not each other. Ryan, death is only the beginning of the real you. After this school is over here, the soul returns to headquarters. That sounds good. That sounds poetic and all of that. But why would you say that death is just the beginning? That suggests that you know what we was before we was born. How would you say that death is the beginning? How do you know something wasn't before birth or before that? Before that. So we gotta be careful with the just imagination, trying to say stuff that feels good. You know what I'm saying? I be careful not to try to say stuff that I know I can't prove. You know what I'm saying? So how old is the mind? How old is the soul? How old would it's all kind of that gets into all the spooky business that we ain't even got time to go in like that. You could think about it, man, and death makes you think about it and makes you wonder and ponder about it. But we know where we came from. We know the process of a sperm connecting with an egg. We know that's not religion. That's actual facts. So, yeah, it's just something we just gotta be careful about saying poetic sounding stuff. Keep skating. Heaven is real. Hell is surreal. What do you mean by that? I don't understand that. I guess people want to know, where is heaven? Is heaven somewhere else other than this earth? Or is this earth heaven? Right? If heaven was so great and is in the fifth dimension or in outer space or something, then why is this God continuously making physical planets and physical galaxies and physical stars and all this physical creation like the one that we living on? If heaven is, is some other dimension. So heaven is physical. um Yeah, heaven is physical. We on the heavens. Ryan say Revelations 12:12. Woe to the inhabitants, not inhibitors. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. Yeah. For the devil is coming down on you having great wrath because he know that he had but a short time. So that's not in the sky. Heaven is not in the sky. We are on the heavens. Sky just means, a few feet or whatever, a few miles from the surface of the earth. That's not heaven. The clouds ain't heaven. If you every time you get in an airplane, a jet, you going above the clouds. So if the heaven was in the clouds, then that means heaven, ain't no higher than 6 miles above the earth, because clouds can't go higher than 6 miles above the earth. So heaven is not in the sky, and hell is not under the ground. Heaven and hell are earth. Heaven and hell are on earth. Whatever you're going through, drugs and alcohol will make it worse. Absolutely. Yeah. And whatever you're doing, like you trying to get the dopamine, you trying to release or trigger certain chemical reactions in your own brain that you can get there without drugs or alcohol. All you trying to do is affect a certain chemical reaction that you could do yourself in your own brain without drugs, without alcohol, right? Without artificial, poisonous, toxic ingredients. You can get there without making yourself toxic, without poisoning yourself. And the way to get there is what we're talking about right now, is through knowledge, through study. You're gonna get, you're gonna have to pay for it. Ain't no free nothing. Ain't no free ride. Ain't no free lunch. Ain't no free solutions. You're gonna have to go study, and then you have to ponder and think, and you know what I'm saying, stuff that will give you a headache. It might make you depressed some days or whatever, because you're going after something that's valuable. If you're going after something that's valuable, then you're gonna pay a price. It's gonna involve discomfort or pain. It could be mental pain, emotional pain. It could be a headache, physical pain. But the solution is never poison. The solution is never drugs. The solution is never alcohol. That can be a temporary treatment. Painkillers is real. If you suffering a physical injury, yeah, morphine or Tylenol or some kind of painkiller, that's real. But you can't constantly rely on that, because then you're gonna create another problem. You're gonna create another problem that might be worse than the problem that you're taking it for. So the ultimate cure or solution is getting the knowledge of what's causing the problem and correcting it. Getting the knowledge of how to identify the problem and the cause of the problem, and then correct it. That's it. That's simple. Correct it. Correcting it takes discipline. It takes knowledge and study and discipline. If you have to change your diet, or you have to start exercising, you have to start reading or whatever, yeah, that's going to take some discipline. But that's what we're here for. You're not going to master nothing without discipline. Elmatic, thank you, El, for the Cash App. Man, thank you. Much, much, much appreciated. But yeah, discipline is what we lack, ain't it? Ain't that what we lack? Ain't that why we ain't able to compete or rule in the world or whatever, like everybody else? Is people half your age that's running whole countries, that's governing and president and prime minister or ruler or king or prince over whole countries. People half your age. We don't even know how to rule our garage. We don't even got a garage. We renting, or we living with somebody else. We don't rule nothing. We can't even rule this house. We slaves in this house. This is our coffin. This is our casket. We just ain't laid down permanently yet. We slaves to everything we come across. So, like it or not, we have to be disciplined. We have to be disciplined. We have to submit and obey and follow another human being. Period. I'm talking about as adults. As adults. Not as children. I don't have to obey nobody. I ain't no child. You's a fool. Everybody have to obey. Every adult has to obey another person. The reason why we in the terrible condition because you believe you don't. You believe that you too grown to obey somebody. I'm too grown. I'm too tough to follow another man. Yeah. Look at your condition. Look what you have not accomplished in life. Knowledge. Wa alaikum salam. Ramadan Kareem. Through my drinking, to my alcohol drinking, I would relapse when I had a death in my family, the loss of my brother, sister, son. When I went savage, womanizing, fornicating. Yeah, because you just give up and you start plummeting into temporary self pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You start pleasure seeking, and that's a form of your faith being broken. You know, that's just a trauma, emotional trauma that we don't have the understanding to properly deal with. So we resort to just giving up. That's a form of quitting. And just turning into a pleasure seeker. You don't care about nothing. I'm just gonna just go, drown my sorrows in this and drown my, and we think it's tough. We think that's a way of being tough. Like I'm fearless now. No, if you was fearless, you would you would face it without the drugs. You would face it without the alcohol. We would face it without the sex. That's how we know we cowards, or we got punked, or we getting cracked, or our faith is breaking, because we have to run to that. Yeah, but it makes sense if you don't have supreme knowledge, if you don't have supreme divine information, then yeah, that we naturally gonna run to something like that, because you can't be sane, like you can't cope with this level of trials and tribulations and pains and disappointments and losses. And it's as far as I know, it's impossible to successfully cope with that without the supreme divine knowledge and wisdom and understanding of God, not of religion, of God. I'm talking about the science of God, the science of what has you tripping, the science of what's causing your depression, the science of what's causing your anxiety, the science of what vitamins and minerals is being depleted because of your stress or your sorrow or your grief or your worry. That actually is science, is depleting you. And if you don't know what's depleting you and you run to some drugs or some alcohol, that's going to deplete it even more. It's going to create a whole new zombie that's worse than the person that ran to the poison. It's going to produce a whole nother level or another depth of zombieism. And you'll be just destroying yourself. Slow kill. You'll be slowly destroying yourself. And then lying to yourself and finding a gang of other coward people that's slowly destroying themselves, and y'all gonna party together. Y'all gonna celebrate your zombie life and act like this is cool and this is the tough way to do it. This is the way you're supposed to cope. And nobody can judge me. And Jesus, I believe in Jesus or Allah. And you go deeper and deeper down the 5150 rabbit hole. We go absolutely insane, and we prove it because we poisoning ourselves. That's insanity. Sanity just means sound. That's unsound thinking. If you poison yourself, if our solution to pain and loss and heartbreak and heartache is to poison ourselves, that's insanity. That's unsound thinking. So that's just because we don't have the knowledge. And those of us that do have the knowledge, that's called hypocrisy. That's called, like Judas, you just punked out. You just punked out. Now you intentionally became a Satan because you did know better. And you just chose to be a coward. We chose to be a coward when we knew better. We chose to run from the struggle, the natural righteous struggle, and we ran into the unrighteous struggle. There's no running, no escaping the struggle. There's no escaping the discipline. You can't escape the fire. You can only choose what kind of fire you want to be in. No escaping the fire. If you into Christianity or Islam or whatever, they say everybody gonna have to be in the fire. You want it to be purification fire, hellfire, or what? It's either gonna be the fire of purification, which is still just as hot, and sometimes it feel worse because you don't understand why you going through this, because you're trying to do everything right, but then that's just purifying the hidden demons and the hidden traumas out of you. It's purifying you. That's a good thing. But then the other type of hell is hellfire, where what you in here for. You in here because of your sin and your satanic practices and your victimizing of other human beings. But it still could be purification for you too. You still can use hellfire as a purification for you to repent, for you to see that you can't handle this, and the only way out is to repent, to atone, to go use whatever time left that you got left in your life to go try to make things right and clean up what you messed up. That's what hellfire is supposed to do with us. Because if you ever been seized with real hell by the God in your head, in your mind, if you ever have suffered psychological torment, you know what I'm talking about. Hell is not after you die. Hell is in this body where you being tormented, where you in grief, you confused, you terrorized, terrified, you depressed, you can't appreciate nothing, you in pain. That's hell. That's designed to make you submit. It's designed to make you tap out of your rebelliousness and say, I'm ready to obey you, God. God, whoever you are, wherever you are. All y'all atheists are delusional, lying until you get hit with the right trial. You're going to absolutely call on God. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to call on God, because if you could, you would try to take yourself out, but the God will put us in certain trials that you can't take yourself out. You will pray for death. You will wish you was able to have the energy or the courage or whatever to delete yourself, and you won't be able to. You'll be stuck. You'll be locked in the worst part of life. That's hell. And be locked there to teach you the lesson that we need to be taught. Because God is still merciful. Even in hell, he used hell to purify us. He let us taste the consequence of our actions and our deeds and our foul choices. That's hell. Red Sanford, it's like we born into war against us and should come into this world fighting, but we get tricked, distracted, and fooled. But that's part of the fight. That's part of the war. That's part of the struggle. The purpose of God making devil is to make us aware of that, to create adversaries and present every form of opposition possible, so that we will become familiar with it and we would rise to the occasion and master it. That is the purpose of devil, Red Sanford. That's the purpose that God made devil, as the total opposite adversary, to make us experience every opponent or every expression of opponent on every grade level, so we can meet it, get familiar with it, rise to the occasion, and conquer it. That's it. That's the purpose of it. Rod Worley, the little engine that did mind, body, and soul. Yeah. Knowledge I recently lost my father, the man who abused me as a child, and I had to help my mother take care of him. I had to forgive him, but stayed sober through it. My parents were married for 67 years. Man, yeah, that's real. That's real trial. So I just want y'all to know that this is the most extreme time in history psychologically. What we went through as slaves, that's of course the most extreme negative experience, and we was locked and enslaved in that hell for 400 years, right? But after that time, after the 400-year, God in person, in the flesh, came and revealed his secret identity or his secret revelation, his knowledge of reality to us, which creates or produces a even more extreme paradigm, right? Which is we in the same body that we experienced all kind of ignorance and hell and trauma and self-abuse and other abuse that we received from parents and other people, or we copy that abuse and abuse our own children. We went from being totally zombie dead, self-destructive and destructive to others, to getting the knowledge of God and be given a chance to correct that and come to life in the same body. Going from hell in the same body to coming to health and going to heavenly, hereafter righteous peace and bliss or whatever in the same body. Just imagine, nobody in history, no people on earth that ever lived and that will ever live after us will have this type of life experience, will live at the same time of uh, dying. We dying as niggas and being birthed into returning to gods in the same lifetime, in the same physical body. Going from knowing nothing and being destroyed for the last, of course, 400 and some years, but really the last 6,000 years. And really, if you want to go further than that, the last 50,000 years. And if you want to go further than that, the last 66 trillion years. That's how long ago that the identity of God, the person of God, has been kept secret. 66 trillion years. The specific identity of God or Allah, the supreme Allah, the regulator of the creation, has always been a human being, has always been human beings. A physical human being that produced physical creation, physical planets, stars, suns, galaxies, solar system, physical universe was created by physical human beings, physical black men gods and black women that produced the black men. That's the secret. The devils and Satan's taught you and taught us that the God was a ghost, a spirit, a spook, a mystery force, a amoeba or whatever, imagination. No, it was always a he. It was always a physical human being. So that's why nobody knew this knowledge and nobody knew, how to perfect their faith, because they didn't know who the God really was. They didn't know what God really was. If I teach you God is something other than you, you're not going to have no 100% faith in something that you don't understand, that you can't comprehend, you can't relate to, that you think is something other than you. That's impossible. It's not until God comes in the flesh and teaches you that he is flesh and blood and you are a God, flesh and blood, and there's no difference between you and him other than the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, force, and power or mastery of it all that he has achieved versus what we have achieved, because we didn't have no access to that information. That information of how to become the supreme Allah, God, possessor of power over all the forces of nature and creation, that was kept secret. And now that's being revealed to you and to me in our lifetime. Why wouldn't we take advantage of it? Either I'm telling you a fantastic sci-fi fairy tale lie, or I'm telling you the truth. You've been believing liars anyway. You've been believing in a 2025-year-old spook mystery, no father having Jesus. Why not believe this? Why not believe something that is far more provable and far more tangible? Right? Not some blind belief. Don't believe nothing blindly. Anything that I say that you don't believe or that you don't agree with, I can show you way more proof than you can show me about some other type of God or what you believe in. It don't mean we beefing. It just means let's be logical. Let's be critical thinkers. Let's be reasonable. Come, let us reason together. Why should I believe in what you're talking about? Where is any proof that what you're talking about has ever existed and can be proven in any kind of form, shape, or fashion? Versus what I'm saying, that we can show the weakest, most recessive Johnny come lately race of our people is accomplishing these things. You know what I'm saying? Look at what the Adamic race has been accomplishing, especially within the last 90 years, the last 30 years, the last 20 years, with the AI technology, with all this stuff they talking about now that you can upload your consciousness to the web, and they think man is going to be immortal within the next 5 or 10 years. They can, man. That's proof. They not even original people. They Johnny come lately, recessive, limited, and we can see the remarkable technological advancements that they've been able to discover. What do you think you really was? They hiding all your stem cell powers and your placenta and unfortunately, terminated pregnancy leftovers. That man, they done extracted so much wisdom and power of God from you, and you didn't even know it. But we looking for the spooks. We giving praise to the spooks. Either praise to the spooks or praise to the white man. That's who we obeying. That's who we believing in. That's who we praying to. We giving it a credit to. Well, no, that ain't God. That's HARP. HARP is causing this weather. HARP. Yeah, they got frequency. They got frequency weapons, man. They got G5, man. They got this. Like, okay, what was doing all this before HARP? Before G5 towers? Before Elon Musk and Neuralink and all that? Who was doing it then? The ghost was doing it. The ghost. See, these white folks figured out how the ghost. See, style. I went insane. The left side of my brain was on the fire. I called on God and he said, I'm all right. Worried about you. The best times of my life was selling the final call and going door to door to get our people and being with the brotherhood. I'm on my way to do what Allah made me to do. You're already doing it. But yeah, don't put it off tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow never comes. We live in the eternal present. We don't live in tomorrow. We live in today. We live right now. So whatever we saying that we gonna do tomorrow is the day that never comes. We do it today. We do it right now when we declare it. Big Zed, salute. Yep. May Allah be pleased. Rest in peace. And when we say rest, that I don't know, maybe because we don't really say that, even though the Quran says, "Oh soul that are at rest, return to your Lord, well pleasing and well pleased." But we don't say rest because that suggests that you're not doing nothing. Rest don't mean you're not active. Rest means that you just not fighting the same adversary no more that we have to fight and struggle against and war against here on this trial situation. Divine Light, Les Pickett, salute, Les Pickett, peace to you. Divine Light, after my mother transitioned several years ago, I abandoned my post, but it's better, my brother, after difficulty comes ease. Yep, not just after difficulty comes ease, with difficulty comes ease. With difficulty comes ease. So we don't realize how things are being made easier for us by the trial that we're going through. We don't know subconsciously that us enduring and surviving and stepping up and taking the pain of this particular loss or this particular trial is graduating us in other areas that we ain't even conscious of. It's making other things insignificant, easy to us. Other things that we would have been stressing out or arguing about or breaking up with friends or spouses about, all that sinks into insignificance. That becomes easy when you're dealing with this level of trials of the loss of a mother, or loss of a child or a spouse or a sibling. You realize what really matters and what don't matter. We shouldn't be wasting no time arguing about this, because we gonna be departing one day. Why would I be arguing so much, and why would you be arguing with me so much? It's better for us just not to be together if it's that much of an argument, because the way I process so-called death and loved ones transitioning, like, I ain't got time to be, I know too much. I see, that this can happen to me at any day, anytime, whatever. So, or you. So why I'm gonna spend that much money and time, tripping on, I'm gonna go get me a room. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna, man, come on now. You can work it out. Big Zed, thank you, Zed. Thank you for the Cash App. I got your Cash App, man. Thank you. So yeah, man, that's what so-called death, I call it so-called death, because death is created. Death is something like an illusion. Death is an illusion to in a sense, according to the definition. Because what is really death? What are we talking about when we say that? Because all of the atoms and the molecules and the subatomic particles that's holding the cadaver together are still alive. The atoms that's holding dead bodies together, even while they decomposing, the atoms are still alive. The molecules are still alive. That energy and electricity is still alive. So what we understand as death, we don't get to hear our mama's voice, or we don't get to hear our spouse's voice and, have that relationship with that vehicle, that vessel, that body no more. That's what we see as death. That's because we don't have the knowledge of what we really are. That's where so-called out-of-body travel and soul travel and tuning and remote viewing and those abilities, the ability to realize that, damn, I don't really see with these eyes. I don't really hear with these ears. I don't really taste with this tongue. Like, you know what I'm saying? The five senses, these physical senses are symbols, kind of. They kind of symbols. The physical body is a symbol. It's a sign of something that's when you start feeling a little better. Like, it ain't that you're trying to teach and preach spookism and nothing like that, because we want to be inspired to master being in this body, master this body and make this body perfect. And possibly, make the body immortal if you choose that. But yeah, man, it's the real us is, we familiar with this body because this is the soil that grows our identity. It grows this phase of our identity. This physical body that we got is what's used to grow this phase in this lifespan, this phase or this term, this time span of our identity. We grow this soul. We grow this thing called a soul. The soul is what you don't want to lose. The soul is not your mind. The soul is not your body. The soul is not your emotions. The soul is not your spirit. Soul is something else. Soul is the identity that you think about when you talk about, what happens to you after you die. Your identity is your soul. And your soul is grown, uniquely grown from the unique body or this unique soil that grows. It experiences what this unique body is going to experience. All of it is Allah, though. All of it is Allah giving himself unique experiences. All of it is the one immortal, eternal Alpha and Omega God giving himself reproduction, infinitely, uniquely reproducing himself in unique vessels to go experience reality or go create reality, to go create and experience new things and then become a creator itself. So we all are really one organism. We all are really one soul. All of us are really one soul. But if this soul is the Alpha and the Omega or the all powerful, then it can do what it please, meaning it can reproduce itself. It can multiply itself. Even though it's the same soul, it can multiply itself and make itself uniquely experience new and separate experiences and expressions of itself. Hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it the best I can with this English bastard language. That's what being a rapper helps you do, because you got to struggle right there on the spot to paint a picture with these limited slave words. So hopefully, you kind of get what I'm trying to say. But I just don't want to take us into space. I don't want you to be spooked out and spaced out and thinking that things is going to be better after you physically die. That's not true. I would believe that they would only be better if you did as much as you possibly can with this body. Just like when you was a sperm, you did as much as you possibly can as the sperm, and then you qualified for another level. All the rest of the sperms that wasn't willing or able to do what you did with your sperm body, they became food. They became fertilizer. They wasn't wasted, but they didn't go to whatever next reality that existed that you didn't know nothing about, like you did. So for us to spend so much time and energy worried about what comes after this, that's not how sperm thought. That's not how you thought as a sperm. You didn't know it was nothing after this, and you didn't know it was nothing before being a sperm. You just knew that I got a tail and a head, and I'm in some liquid, and I'm supposed to swim my hardest, and I'm shaped like a little arrowhead, so I'm supposed to hit something as hard as I can, which is that egg. My instinct, the intelligence in my nature is intelligence, because nobody taught you how to swim. Nobody taught a sperm to swim like that. It already has that intelligence. That's not knowledge. That's intelligence. That's not knowledge. So you're supposed to master intelligence and get knowledge once you get to this level. So if anything do exist after this, this dissolves into this egg called the earth, because the earth can be considered a big old egg, you know what I'm saying? And we did what we're supposed to do, and then we fuse back into this egg called the earth. And now a new type of life is produced with our soul. That's what I think, but I ain't going to teach that because I can't prove it. But you know, as Christians and people that believe and just lay down and be a slave and Jesus gonna make it okay and the sweet by and by, you know, we ain't gotta fight. We can let let the white police stick German shepherds on us and hit us with fire hoses and hung us and lynch us and burn us. And that ain't what you want to do. You want a Islam teaching that say, no, this the only life you get. And you let somebody take it, you just wasted. You don't get no soul. You don't get no afterlife because you tricked off, just like your sperm. You tricked off your opportunity. You didn't do what you were supposed to do with your life. You let somebody take it or you just didn't do nothing with it. You become food and fertilizer. So that's what the Christian teaching had us thinking. That's what spooky Islam teaching have us thinking. That's what spooky metaphysical anything teaching. Oh no, you ain't got to be such and such right here. No, we don't have no power on this realm in this third dimension. We don't got no power. We got power in the ether realm or the fifth dimension or sixth or some Mayat, whatever, like, you know, Kemetic. Hey man, if your teaching don't teach me how to master this life in this body, I don't want to hear it. I don't need to know what the Dead Sea Scrolls or the afterlife, the book of the dead, and what's supposed to happen. Like, you're supposed to study, okay, when you die, then you're supposed to go through the purgatory. And I don't give a damn about none of that. Teach me how to be a God right now in this body, in my flesh and blood body. Teach me how to heal my body. Teach me how to activate my brain. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. And I'm not going to hear it. I'm going to reject that. I'm going to reject you. I'm going to rebel against you because you ain't telling me nothing about how to master where I'm at. You trying to get me prepared to die. You want me to hurry up and get up out of here. You helping Bill Gates and George Soros and Henry Kissinger depopulate program. You want to make it spiritually okay to get depopulated. Nah, I'm not with that one. I'm not with that. Nope. I'm here. I'm with populating and replenishing the earth, being fruitful and multiplying. Yeah, that's what I'm with. What the Bible say. Be fruitful and multiply, not get depopulated. Not saying, no, I'm scared to have a child. Man, life is too crazy right now to have a child. No, that's how you conquer the craziness. If you see the science and know the science that these Satan's population growth is at 0, then you can get rid of them. You can win them just by having children. That's how you conquer them, by having new children. When you see they can't have children, that's why they're going to hit you with the Kamala Harris Planned Parenthood and the Rainbow Sprinkle Society and all these Dr. Fauci juices and all of that. So you can't be fruitful and multiply and get rid of them like that. They're going to get rid of you and make you love it. They're going to make you love it. They're going to make you think it is Jesus, it's God's will that took you home. It was God's will. God called him home. No, God didn't call him home. No, Satan got him out of here. That wasn't God's will. No, this is heaven. This is the heaven that God made for you. This is the first heaven. It's the only heaven we know. Milk and honey, pearls, streets of gold, garden, couches, pure companions, fresh flesh, goodly pleasures. That's earth stuff. That's physical flesh and blood stuff. I ain't seen none of them no ghost ingredients like that. So if that's what you believe in, then that's why we powerless. No mystery, ghost, spook business. There is mystery to us. There is a so-called unseen or the soul part of us is that ghost, but you don't catch it. You don't catch the Holy Ghost. You don't catch the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? Soul is holy. The soul is holy, just like the creation is holy. What are you talking about? Only thing on the planet that ain't holy is the devil, is Satan. Everything is holy. Everything is divine. What are you talking about? And even Satan, part of Satan is divine. He couldn't be here. Satan is a miracle. Satan is a divine creation. Man, I better wake up. Hopefully, I'm saying the right wake up words so y'all will wake up from this ghost dream. There's a ghost dream. That's a pipe dream. That's a matrix. You really laying down on your back in a pod full of goop, a pod full of pus. You know what I'm saying? With wires plugged to you. You asleep. You dreaming that you awake. You not awake. You powerless. You a slave. You in a coffin called your own body is a casket. This is a wake up message to let you know. No, everybody else is more awake than us. Everybody else is learning how to manipulate atoms and molecules and creation and experiment with the weather and experiment with DNA and RNA and human genomes. We not doing that. We ninjas. We experimenting with twerking and dancing, sticking our tongue out. We experimenting with politics, being a pawn, fruit pie of politicians. That's what we doing. We ain't running nothing but ourselves into the ground, running our mouth. So that's what we doing Ramadan. We fast, and at least that's something. You fasting is a self purification, self discipline, a righteous struggle that guards against evil, against our weakness. Fasting makes us strong. Fasting gives us the power and the inspiration and the spirit, the emotion to resist weakness, to fight weakness. We know it's fight time. We just fighting the wrong thing. We fighting our righteous discipline. We supposed to be fighting the weakness. We supposed to be using the righteous discipline to fight the weakness, fight the addictions, fight the bad habits, fight the lying that we do, fight the cheating that we do, fight the scamming that we do. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't feel good about it. That's where a lot of our physical disease come from. It comes from the burden of the sins that we know we got stacked up, that we done committed against other people or committed against ourselves. We keeping secrets, and them secrets of sin is making us sick and killing us. That's why I said the mafia, they even confess. You gotta confess it. You gotta confess it. That's the only thing gonna free it. I ain't saying who you supposed to confess it to. Of course, you confess it to God. But if you know you violated somebody, you need to confess it to them and ask their forgiveness. That's how you get it up off you. That's how you start. That's how we start the healing process and the returning to favor and returning to grace, returning to our God powers by confessing to God first and to ourselves second, and to the person or the people that we know we violated. Swallow your pride, because the pride is going to kill you. The pride is going to curse you. The pride is going to curse your children. Anything you love, your pride is going to curse it and destroy it. Pride goes before destruction. Pride, ego, toughness, your image. I'm going to take this to my grave. Yeah, well, that grave going to come sooner than you think. Girl, you going to tell him? You going to tell him that? Girl, you going to confess? You going to tell her what you did? Well, girl, you're supposed to take that to your grave. Oh, well, it's grave time. So I hope you got a fresh dress, because that's coming sooner than you want it. If that's the position that you taking now at the end of grace, and grace being, oh, girl, take that to your grave. Okay, so be it. Mm-hmm. But man, I was trying to stay positive, but you know, see where it's coming, where it's going. It is positive. This is good news, but good news ain't good news to everybody. Good news to the righteous is terrible news to the wicked. Good news to truthful people is terrible news to liars and cheaters. So if that's your claim to fame and that's how you've been living your life, getting over on other people, doing them before they do you, then this ain't good news, and nothing that God or the righteous got to say is going to be good news. Everything we got to say is going to be convicting you and incriminating you. And you're going to feel like you're being attacked because you are being attacked. And you should be attacked. And you're going to be wiped out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, divine light. Pride is killing a lot of our people. Absolutely. Pride, like pride, guilt, not being able to face and take accountability for our guilt, for our own guilty choices, for our own poor choices, our own weak, wicked choices of action. Instead of being, held accountable, we rather die, and that's what we doing. We choosing death. Like, man, we choosing death when we don't have to. It's not that bad. It's not that serious. It's always a way out. The way out starts with being truthful and being righteous and confessing. But to some people, that's just absolutely kryptonite. That's just an absolute no-no, and we're not going to do it. Okay, well, you're a Satan then. And Satans need to be destroyed and wiped out immediately. So if that's your or my position on dirt, and the dirt that you did and the dirt you doing, then you a Satan. I can't tell you what, or when. I can't tell you when a lie is going to call your number, but I can tell you absolutely a lie is absolutely calling numbers today. This is the call our number season. So pride produces destruction, our own destruction. King Z, pride is a big problem in our community. Yeah, probably the biggest. Pride and envy. Envy and pride, they go hand in hand. Pride. If you knew you was wrong and you didn't want to confess you was wrong because you didn't want to look stupid, you already look more stupid. You look more stupid for not confessing and not admitting it and not taking accountability. But we don't know that. We like dumb ostriches that stick our little pride head in the sand, a little pea body, dinosaur brain head in the sand, and a big Sir Mix-a-Lot butt sticking out for everybody to see, thinking we hide, thinking don't nobody see us. Pride. Looking so super stupid. Looking super crazy. The very thing you trying to avoid looking like is what you advertise, and everybody here, like it's a horn, like you pointing to your own stupid big ass and your little pea brain head in the sand. And unfortunately, like that, you can see it, the way we look. Just the makeup, the mask that so many of us gotta wear just to come outside. That's a sign. That's a clear sign of it. What percentage of our women do you, and damn, they're girls, what percentage of our females is coming outside without some type of fake cosmetic part or piece on? That's letting you know. If you want to do a survey of pride and the poison of pride and false image, what percentage of our women and girls in the Black community, descendants of slaves, is coming outside or taking pictures or going anywhere without something fake on? Fake body part, fake makeup, fake hair, tattoos. That's going to let you know right there. That's the pride piece. That's how you can tell the pride piece right there. Unique Kanye, I know from experience, man. Me too. I'm not freestyling. We know We know from experience. Divine light, if you want to kill the devil within, learn the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, or just learn to tell the truth. Just even if you don't know the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know the truth. You know what the truth is. You know how to tell the truth and not lie. That's how you kill the devil. Just be truthful. Tell the truth, regardless of whom or what. Tell the truth against yourself, starting with yourself. Be honest and truthful with yourself. Yeah, I tripped out, man. I was weak, man. Yeah, I was a hypocrite. Yeah, I was lying. Yeah, I cheated. Yeah, I was this. You know what I'm saying? That's how you kill the devil. That's how you kill the devil. You don't need to know no super secret divine teachings to start killing the devil. You just need to know who the devil is, and devil means evil with a D on it. If you're doing evil, then you know what I'm saying, you're doing devil. Stop doing devil, stop doing evil, and you're gonna stop devil. King Z, black people have an ego problem. We compete against each other, talk down on each other instead of building each other up. Yeah, that's trauma and self-hatred. And it's not just from that. It's 4 decades. I mean, not 4 decades. It's 4.5 centuries, over 4.5 centuries of programming. We didn't get into this condition overnight. We can get out of it overnight, but you know, we're not gonna get out of it overnight without the supreme wisdom teachings. That's where the Nation of Islam teachings, knowledge of self teachings, absolutely come in to play at. You know, you can get rid of devil. That don't mean you're replacing it with the wisdom of God. A clean glass is cool, or a clean wineskin is cool. That's cool. That's just the beginning. But you know, a wineskin is meant for divine wine to be poured into it. You know, the purpose of a glass or the purpose of a vessel is for something to be poured into it. So yeah, if I'm getting rid of the germs and the poisons or whatever, that's great. What I'm gonna replace it? What I'm gonna fill it up with? So that's 2 things that got to be done. You got to get rid of the poison, get rid of the devil, and then fill it with God. That's 2 things. It don't happen automatically. Just because you're getting rid of the devil don't mean you necessarily filling it with God. No. We can't blame the victims and leave the suspect out of it. Can't deny the damage was done to black people, but Butterball people and their children. Yeah. Yeah, but now we at the point, because of the time, the grace period is over for that excuse. That's what grace being over means. The grace period to be able to blame white folks is over with. They're already doomed. I mean, you know, those that's guilty of what they're guilty of, they already doomed for what they did to our people and what they did to the planet. That don't got nothing to do with you. Our job is what we responsible for. So this information has been available to us now our whole lifetime for 94 years, 95 years. 95 years. Grace is over with using the white man as the excuse for why we continuing to do what we doing. If you know anything about, have you ever heard of Elijah Muhammad? Yeah, I heard of Elijah Muhammad. Oh, have you ever heard of Malcolm X? Yeah, I heard of Malcolm X. That's my favorite. That's my number one. See, Malcolm was here. Have you ever heard of Muhammad Ali? Yeah, I heard of Muhammad Ali. Man, he the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Yeah, have you heard of Minister Farrakhan? Yeah, I heard of Minister Farrakhan. Man, Million Man Martin. Yeah, your excuses is over with then. Because if you can come up with any excuse of why you not with them, that means you had enough time to study them. You had enough time to study and produce an excuse of why you not with them. That was enough time for you to be with them. That's enough time to know that you can't use the white man as your excuse. Yeah. No excuse no more. Knowledge. I see young girls in junior high school with wigs and long nails and half naked. Yeah. And a young brother with fingernail polish on and tight leotard jeans on. Yeah. And they not just wearing that. They active. You know what I'm saying? They freaks. They getting they ditty on in 10 years old, 11 years old. I'm talking about graphic, rainbow graphic activity at 10, 11, 12 years old. Younger than that even. So you can't blame that on the slave master. Can't blame that on the slave master. We knew who they are. We know who they are. We've been knowing that who the devil is now for 95 years. Because if you know Malcolm X, if you heard of Malcolm X, then you ain't got no excuse. You know what Malcolm X taught. You know what Elijah Muhammad taught. You know what Muhammad Ali, Farrakhan taught. You know what Khalid Muhammad taught. Because y'all saying it today. Y'all calling people the devil. Oh, okay, good. You don't got to be a Muslim, but if you saying them people is devils, then you ain't got no excuse. Everything that we doing is our choice. It's our choice today. Can't blame it on them. So grace for that excuse is over with, and we're gonna see that, and we seeing it right now. I don't even want to highlight current events in the news on social media right now, but what we suffering and what we gonna continue suffering, and we're gonna see more and more tragic news of the destruction and the demise of our people. It's just gonna speed up. It's gonna be what do you call that? Exponential multiplication of calamities and tragedies and us crashing out and other, going out backwards is going to exponentially increase every day, starting today, but especially starting on April 1st, April Fools. It ain't no coincidence that Ramadan is over the day before April Fools. The next day after Eid, after the end of Ramadan, is April Fools, April 1st. Watch. From now, these last 10 days on off to the rest of the eternity until this thing comes all the way down. Watch how exponentially we start crashing out. Yeah. The pandemic was the clearest sign of it. We haven't seen nothing like that in our lifetime. I'm talking about our young generation. We ain't seen nothing like that in our lifetime. That was the green light to let you know that time was here. And that's why the dragon is enraged, because the dragon is being cast out and exposed. The dragon. I don't want to go too much more into that, but Candace Owens, check out Candace Owens, her live episode today, talking about one of the main little beasts of the dragon and how they hands was all in JFK's assassination, along with all of the presidents. And according to documents that she was reading, and the documents that had to do with Trump releasing the JFK assassination files or whatever, had information on there about Israel blackmailing the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers, the people that are responsible for our educational system, our pharmaceutical system, the Rockefellers, So according to newly released information, the Rockefellers got blackmailed and took over by the small caps. And that's part of the CIA. The CIA. Well, just go watch Candace Owens, y'all. Watch today's episode of Candace Owens. Please do. Every time I tell y'all to watch somebody, it's gonna be full of jewels. It's gonna be full of bombshell, man, bombshells. And it's beautiful because we didn't have to do nothing. This is not the Nation of Islam. It's not Minister Farrakhan. He been pulled the mask off of them. This is their own people. This is their own minions and their own former magicians. This is the American public now that's pulling the cover off of them, that's rebelling against them, that's exposing them. That's why they enraged. They have to get rid of Trump, have to get rid of Elon. They have to go to war against the American population. And they tried with the pandemic. They tried. They got rid of millions. They was going for billions. And they still might, that Fauci juice still might take out billions. But, little brother Gentile, follow Trump supporters of America, 90 million, might be more than that now. It might be over 100 million of them now that's backing Trump, that's against these small caps when they learning how they was poisoned and marked for depopulation. It ain't just us. So they about that business. They about retaliation. They not scared of their own people. So the way Candace is putting it out there, bless her heart and may God protect her as long as he please. And because her Achilles heel is her husband and the faith or the religion that she professes so much. Poor sister. She don't know that but Allah is still using her to get this information out. He's still making priceless use of her intelligence, her academic, journalistic mastery. He's still using her for the best of what she could be used for based on the choices that she made. You know what I'm saying? If she would have chose personally a black man, a black husband or whatever, then, she would have so much super favor or whatever. But, she chose as she chose personally, and that's only going to take her so far. So, the Most High is using her tremendously while she can be used, because the grace being over is going to affect her too. Grace being over and the dragon going to super come, so she's being affected, but God is letting her, Allah is letting her do a priceless work for his people, even though she don't claim his people. Yeah. So he don't waste nothing. If you know about the Quran, they talk about Solomon and the wisdom of Solomon and how Solomon had devils working for him. He didn't try to convert them. Oh, you want to be a devil? You know what I'm saying? I got enough wisdom to make you feel okay by working for me. So Solomon had devils working for him and diving and making pots and making this and making that and doing other works that he wasn't going to do himself. So if people is just intent, you know what I'm saying, and got their mind set on being who they're going to be and being who who they're going to be with. Okay, well, you still got value. I'm going to use you. And as long as the God allows you time and grace to be used, maybe you might change your mind. Maybe you might see the light. Maybe you might come across some information, regarding the people that you with intimately that, so I'm sure that God is offering her information about Catholicism or about the husband that she with that's going to allow her to make the choice, you know what I'm saying, to separate or to go the whole distance with them. That's her choice. Yeah, but that's not my problem. I'm just here for the information. Thank you, Candace. You know what I'm saying, and thank you, God, for using Candace because she's brilliant. Just like Kanye, he's brilliant. Thank you, God, for using Kanye. But if y'all want to keep on, laying down with them folks, And hey, man, I'm just focusing on the good that you're doing for us. I'm gonna take this part of what y'all do, and I can deal with that, but I can't deal with the other stuff. Um. Hmm. But yeah, man. Y'all got any other comments, topics, something that y'all want to speak on? Because I'm probably gonna hop off of here if y'all don't, because I'm trying to prepare my mind for these last 10 days of Ramadan. There's a StreamYard link. Feel free if y'all want to say something, if y'all want to promote your business, anything, y'all can definitely do that free of charge. And there's also the Cash App. If the Lord puts anything on your heart, you know what I'm saying? Greatly appreciated. Thank y'all, of course. But yeah, man, it's just a countdown over here on these last 10 days of Ramadan. It's called the Night of Majesty. One of these days it's called the Night of Majesty, what I talked about yesterday. And like my brother Brother Terrence Muhammad kind of reminded me today, it's not called the Day of Majesty or the Day of Power. It's called the Night of Power, the Night of Majesty. That means it's a majesty, or it's a power that's going to be given in the night, in the darkness, in the ignorance, among the ignorance of the people. Widespread darkness, meaning blindness and ignorance. It's a night that something majestic happens. Something divinely powerful is given in the night. Oh, it's getting dark. Oh, we about to go into the dark ages. We already in the dark ages. You can look at our communities and see how mentally dark we are, but it's going to get even darker. And that's why the stars are going to be absolutely priceless. The stars of God, the representatives that stored up their oil and stored up their light, meaning wisdom, knowledge, and experience of the knowledge of God, the knowledge of self, the knowledge of Satan, the knowledge of how to maneuver. We going to be the lights that the other people going to need to move through the darkness. So this happens in the night of power. The night of power, because ultimately, the dawn is the day of power. If we can get through the night, the dawn is the real power of God. When the God, the one that you thought was dead, shows you otherwise. But in his physical absence, the only light you're gonna have is the stars. So tune in, like, subscribe, share, follow noi.org, noi.org. Bookmark it on your computer, bookmark it on your cell phone, on your tablet, noi.org, nationofislam.org. You do not have to call yourself a Muslim. It's not about that. It's about staying up to speed with the information, the knowledge of self, the current events, the guidance for the war of Armageddon that we already in. Stay up to date with the Muslims, with the Nation of Islam, on the guidance for yourself and for your family. Be up to speed, be in step. Know where we going and where we not going. Know what we eating and what we not eating. Know what we supposed to say and what we not supposed to say. Know who you supposed to believe or who you supposed to take, trust in their word, and who you not supposed to trust in their word. If we ain't produced a trustworthy enough track record for you by now, then it just ain't gonna happen. So with that, man, peace and blessings. That's right, Divine Light, Final Call Radio, and Final Call Newspaper. Final Call Radio, also Final Call Newspaper. Just go online and noi.org and Final Call Radio and Final Call Newspaper. You do not have to be a Muslim. You do not have to call yourself a Muslim. You do not have to call yourself a Muslim. This is not about religion. Not about religion. It is about God. It is about God in you. That's the God we believe in, the human being, flesh and blood God, the most high of which is the black original nation. That is the most high God, provably. So this is about you. This is not about dogma and ghost stories and traditions and rituals and all of that. No, this is about proving, showing and proving what the rituals and the symbols really mean and what they really represent and why we established them and how we fulfill them right now. So that's it, y'all. Man, love y'all. Man, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem, peace, blessings, and God willing, until tomorrow. This is KAM-PAIN Show Live, and I'm your brother, Cam. Peace and peace.